Hi guys, this is a video to show you how to fix a hollow wooden door. Our dog we left at home decided that he wanted to get into this bedroom and tried his best to actually get in, but ultimately ended up, clawing the door to pieces and wrecking it, right? As you can see, I tried to paint it to see if I could make it look better, but then I decided to look on YouTube to see if somebody else had done a video how to fix a door, and actually found a couple of useful videos, but decided maybe this one was slightly different in terms of it was at the bottom of the door, and thought that you guys might want to see how I decided to fix it based on those two videos. But there are a couple of videos out there that might be useful, and if you find this one useful, great. So follow along. Thanks. So basically what I looked at the videos, and one suggested you can use some sort of car sort of compound to fix it. Obviously I don't have that, but it seemed kind of like an expensive way to go around it. And then the second video which I found was a wooden door, which they just used basically drywall compound or mud, if you will, to fix it, which I thought probably made sense. I mean, this mud does become very hard. I mean, I've definitely patched walls and put a lot in a wall and opened up the wall to find sort of a whole sort of section in the wall that's become very, very hard indeed, right? So it's almost sort of rock-like after a while, right? So, I thought that would probably be the best way to go. So if you take a look and follow along, the video is a little bit long, so just kind of scroll through the pieces you kind of want to watch. Definitely I agree with one of the YouTubers that mentioned, take your time, right? So this is drywall. Mud sort of takes a while to dry, and then you want to kind of sand it out, and then come back and put mud on. So expect this to take sort of a week, 2 weeks, depending how much time you have. It normally takes about 2 or 3 days for the mud to sort of really dry. You'll notice in one of the sections, it wasn't quite dry, so I had to redo it. So I ended up, taking another 3 or 4 days for it to dry. Um, so, take your time, be careful. This is at the bottom of a door, so if you are going to do something at the bottom of a door, try not to put lumps like I did slightly. I mean, I didn't think it was going to be a big deal until I started sanding it, and then ended up breaking it. I'm just going to fast forward some of these other sections to speed it up. It's just really either sanding it, just straighten it out to save some time, so you don't have to sit through the whole boring thing, but just kind of the same idea. You'll notice in the next section I actually break the dry mat at the bottom of the wall. Just be careful when you do that. When you're sanding, it might just be a little not quite dry yet. If you sand too hard, it'll actually break, and then you're gonna have to redo it. So just take your time, be patient, and do it in gentle strokes, and then it'll be fine. You'll notice here that I'm just using, I just took a piece of sandpaper, just wrapped it around, it's actually just a wooden shim, but you can probably use anything that's kind of flat, a piece of plastic or whatever, just to kind of sand. I mean, in this case it's just the bottom of a door, so it's a little bit trickier, but yeah, I mean, if it's normally just the flat piece of the door, you could just use either a sander or just a piece of sanding paper will probably do the trick. And again, just go slowly and gently, and don't use obviously too coarse sandpaper, because then it will just make lines in the mud there, right? So, and in this section, I'm just redoing, just because I messed up the earlier section there, so I'm just going to redo it, let it dry for a few days, and then I'll come back. So if you'd like to just fast forward, or you want to continue watching this, I just go through this section and redo it, and then I'm going to come back and sand it, and then finally I will paint it just towards the end. Thank you. For those guys who've never done drywall before, used mud before, there's a couple of products on the market. I know when I first started, I went and I bought this really expensive, stuff off the shelf, and it was this, very soft and, easy stuff to use and all that stuff, right? But really, don't buy that stuff. It's really expensive. At the time, this was probably 10 years ago, it cost me like $10 for like a little tub, which is ridiculous, right? I mean, you can buy, a 15-liter box or bucket for, 10, 15, $20 tops. So I'll add some links into my description, to Amazon, but just go to your local hardware store, get the good mud stuff, that contractors use. I pay like $20 for like 15 liters, and that's typically what you want to pay. You don't want to pay more than that. Okay, so now I'm done with all the sanding. It looks pretty good. I'm just going to go ahead and paint it, and finish it up. So it looks good. This paintbrush I'm actually using, it's actually, I used it previously from a bedroom that I painted. And a tip for you guys, if you do some painting, don't throw away the paintbrush. Just put it in a little zip bag, or in a plastic bag, even one of these plastic shopping bags. Wrap it in that tightly, and then you can come back and you can reuse the paintbrush, many times over, right? So really, this, for me to fix this door probably cost me under $5, because I didn't really use anything additional, right? I used a bit of paint, I used a bit of mud, and I used a previous paintbrush, so it really cost me little or nothing, right? I mean, I did see in one of those other two videos I mentioned that they used, which I thought was a good idea actually, is the foam that they put in between windows and that, right? So the guy filled it up. I was going to do that, but that would have probably cost me, $5 to do that, and really, if it's a big hole or you think you've shot, that's probably okay to do that. But just for a small hole like this, or even smaller hole, if you just fix it, it might not be worth it. But $5 isn't a big deal either, right? So, but yeah, I mean, this really just cost me less than that, right? So, but yeah, you go. So I'm all done. It's painted up, and I have pretty much a good brand new looking door. I mean, and if I had to replace this door, it would have probably cost me $100 or more. If you had to get somebody to install it, $200 or $300, and for this, it cost me less than $5, and probably, a bit of time, an hour or so.